Starmer is no stranger in upsetting people or countries, and has now been blasted for his actions that have been dubbed as a total betrayal. Yes, people are not happy at all after this weekend's events. We will discuss this in detail, whilst also going over all of the latest news from up and down the country. But first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and join our fast-growing community. Just a quick one to say we have new Stuck Farmer t-shirts available on our store. Go grab them now. They are available at britishstand.com or check the link in the description. Labour and Starmer has been blasted for betraying the Chagos Islanders after failing to invite a representative from the archipelago to lay a wreath at the cenotaph on Remembrance Sunday. The islands are already at the centre of an international spat over Sir Keir Starmer's decision to hand over their sovereignty to Mauritius, but now their apparent remembrance snub has been lambasted as a total betrayal and a denial of their right to self-determination. On Sunday, a dozen representatives from the UK overseas territories laid wreaths at the UK's National Service of Remembrance at the cenotaph in Whitehall in recognition of the part that their citizens played in both World Wars. Representatives from Anguilla, Bermuda, the British Virgin Islands, the Cayman Islands, the Falkland Islands, Gibraltar, Montserrat, the Pitcairn Islands, St Helena, Ascension Island, and Tristan da Cunha, and the Turks and Caicos Islands laid wreaths at the cenotaph. But no one from the British Indian Ocean Territory, which includes the Chagos Islands and Diego Garcia, was asked by the UK government to participate in the wreath-laying. Jean-François Nellon, a spokesman for Chagosian Voices, which represents thousands of Chagosians and their descendants in the UK, told British Stand of the snub. He said, "Unfortunately, no representative or anyone from the community was asked to attend the laying of wreaths at the cenotaph." Chagosians living on Diego Garcia assisted Allied troops during the Second World War, while the islands hosted an RAF station between 1942 and 1946. Nellon said, "My grandmother, who was born on Diego Garcia and is still alive, helped the injured troops at the infirmary." He added, "The Chagosians were helping the Allies on the islands in case the Germans attacked. British overseas territories have only been allowed to lay wreaths after a change of policy to allow UK overseas territories since 2019. However, it is thought that no representative of the Chagos Islands has ever been asked to take part. Between 1968 and 1973, the UK forcibly removed the Chagosians to Mauritius and the United Kingdom. There are now several thousand Chagosians in the UK, many of whom want to return to their homeland. The Royal British Legion says that decisions about wreath layers were made by the Department for Culture, Media and Sport, DCMS. Tory MP Andrew Rosindell, the president of the all-party parliamentary group on the Chagos Islands, and whose campaigning persuaded the government to allow the overseas territories to be allowed to take part in the cenotaph ceremony, accused ministers of a total betrayal of the Chagosians. He said he did not accept the government's reason for excluding the Chagos Islands from the ceremony. Rosindell said, "That may be correct, but it doesn't make it right that the Chagosian people based here in Britain are not invited to send a representative to lay their own wreath. It's a total betrayal of the British Chagosian population in the UK. The government are acting like a colonial power, riding roughshod over the Chagosian people and denying them their right of self-determination. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments." In some other news, thousands of London taxi drivers have been wrongly hit with penalty charges for entering ULEZ and congestion charge areas, despite being exempt from fees. A Freedom of Information request to Transport for London revealed that 7,563 incorrect penalty notices were issued to cab drivers due to an IT glitch. The Licensed Taxi Drivers Association, LTDA, warned that the wave of wrongful fines has caused significant concern among drivers, with many worried about escalating penalties. Drivers can be fined £180 if they are falling foul of the rules, although it can be dropped to £90 if paid within 14 days. According to TfL's exemption list, licensed black cab drivers do not need to pay the ULEZ or the congestion charge. The errors impacted vehicles entering the zones in late September and early October. Steve McNamara, General Secretary of the LTDA, told The Telegraph their phone systems were overwhelmed by concerned drivers unable to reach TfL. Our phone systems are in meltdown because our members cannot get in touch with TfL. Thousands of my members have been affected by this. We've had over 500 calls this morning alone, McNamara said. The taxi body reported that some drivers, worried about escalating fines, were considering paying the penalties just to make them go away. The situation has been particularly stressful for drivers, as unpaid penalties can quickly increase and potentially lead to bailiff involvement. McNamara added, "Members are struggling to get through to TfL, so they're all ringing us, and consequently our phones are jumping off the hook. This should not have happened." The issue stemmed from an error with TfL's whitelist system, which typically ensures licensed black cabs are automatically exempt from charges. A routine data upload error disrupted this system, causing automated letters to be sent out accusing drivers of wrongly entering the zones. TfL has acknowledged the mistake and issued an apology stating, "We are aware that some taxi drivers have received PCNs incorrectly due to a system issue. We have written to vehicle owners to confirm they do not need to take any action, and that any PCNs that have been incorrectly issued will be cancelled. Fleet operators have been particularly impacted by the wave of incorrect penalties, facing additional administrative burdens," the association warned. Transport for London has confirmed it is taking decisive action to address the situation affecting thousands of taxi drivers, writing to all affected vehicle owners, confirming they do not need to take any action regarding the incorrect penalties. All wrongly issued PCNs will be automatically cancelled by the capital's Transport Authority, according to reports. To be ULEZ-compliant taxis must meet certain requirements. Petrol cabs must meet Euro 4 emissions targets, while diesel cars must adhere to Euro 6 emissions. Petrol cars that meet the standards are generally those first registered as new with the DVLA after 2005, although cars that meet the standards have been available since 2001. As for diesel cars, they meet the standards if first registered with the DVLA as new after September 2015. Electric cars and many hybrid models are exempt from the fines. All private hire vehicles, including taxis which operate in the ULEZ zone, need to meet certain emissions standards or pay a £12.50 charge per day, unless they are registered as wheelchair accessible by TfL. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British political content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.